vice president, a top executive in one of the biggest corporations in America. When you get off the plane in a foreign country, it's not only IBM people who greet you, is it?
No, that's true. The nature of my role is global. And a significant portion of my role is being engaged in the market. I spend an awful lot of time with customers, partners of all types. And the model that we actually have is we couple our engineering talent with external, what I would call market capabilities. So a lot of the things we develop is actually in the context of a business process, and it's really in the context of how you deliver new business value to different types of clients around the world. So a large portion of my engagement is not only in the development of the technology, but more importantly, how that technology is applied to a business problem.
And some of the customers are governments in other countries.
Our job is to focus on enterprise customers of all size, whether they're small businesses, medium businesses, or large enterprises. We also work with various industries including the government sector or the public sector, industries like electronics, manufacturing, communications, retail. So the model that we have is we've identified 16 industries where we work with them in terms of taking the technology and applying it to that very specific industry opportunity.
Now, Rodney, we see frequently on television these days American executives in the Persian Gulf meeting with a sheikh in his robes and going through a lot of discussion in very exotic locations. But we never see you on television doing that.
Well, you know, we are a leader in what I would describe as information technology, infrastructure-based solutions. And it turns out most of the world economies and most of what I would call the mission-critical applications, they're actually being run by IBM-based technologies and systems. I'm part of what is called our Systems and Technology Group, which enables businesses of all sizes to run things that a lot of times we don't see. You know, so if you think about the use of a cell phone or, you know, some type of communication device, it's tying into some type of infrastructure.
So actually you're there, but the cameras aren't watching.
That's right. So if you look at the World Bank's ATM machines that you engage with, that transaction is typically managed by some IBM system, which is based on, you know, the security and management capabilities that we provide. If you look at most of the airplanes that we enjoy or cars, most of the design systems that were used to design things like automobiles and cars are based on IBM technologies through the types of design tools that we provide to those businesses.
So that means that you and your people are out on those front lines with those companies that are building those airplanes and those cars and those other systems.
That's right. And so the reason why I sort of described our role, it is really in collaboration with customers. So our role is really to provide the enabling technologies that can be applied that will allow them to derive value in their respective markets.
Tyrone Taborn, the CEO of Career Communications, very strongly discussed the fact that we have to change the paradigm in our cultural discussion in the African American community. We don't see portrayed executives like yourself. We don't see engineers. We don't see scientists. All we see is people who know how to shoot a 25-foot jump shot or people who know how to rap. But that's not the whole picture, is it?
That's not the complete picture, because it turns out, although in the arena of athletics and entertainment, many of our fellow brothers and sisters are doing great things. But it also turns out that we have some well-accomplished people doing some great things in business. So that's one reason I applaud Dr. Taborn in terms of what a platform like Black Engineer does, because one of the areas of focus is really to heighten the awareness in terms of there are opportunities and capabilities that can be applied across a broad set of industries and segments. And when you think about business, we have a number of role models and mentors that we really need to leverage to show that there are other ways in terms of having fruitful careers and fruitful opportunities in the marketplace.
Exactly. Nancy Stewart, the Chief Technology Officer of Walmart, made the point speaking to the group about the fact that service industries like Walmart are in fact big technology users and even innovators in technology. People don't think about that fact, but those big systems on which she's running, her point of sale system interrogation, her data mining, all that data factory came from what company?
It turns out they are a very good customer of ours, and we really appreciate that. And if you think about Walmart as an enterprise, and you think about the types of transactions and the volumes that they have to deal with, there has to be some type of robust, scalable, highly secured infrastructure that manages the activities that happens across the retail segment. So a good example in terms of when you look at Walmart as an enterprise, they're doing some fascinating things in terms of improving the buyer experience as it relates to shopping. And how you do that is through the application of leadership technologies. And we're actually proud to play a role in that opportunity.
And not only in Walmart, but other big retailers as well.
That's right. That's right. And if you look at one of the more fascinating industries, in my opinion, that's gone through major transformation is actually retail, because all retailers are really looking at how can they provide the most optimal buying experience for their customers and for consumers. And when you really think about that, technology will continue to play a vital role in that transformation.
And you earlier mentioned banking. Most people don't think about banking as a technology industry, but engineers know that it is true, isn't it?
Well, when you think about banking, you have to think about what happens behind the scenes. So quite often we go to an ATM machine and the interaction is at the point of engagement. But if you really think about what happens behind the scenes in terms of it has to be a secured transaction, things have to be authenticated, and you need the compute power to manage the set of activities. That's really what I would describe IT infrastructure is all about. And that's what we do as a service. And one of my roles in IBM is to provide the enabling technologies and the systems infrastructure that supports things like banking, retail, communications, government, and education.
And that means more than just selling them the computer and they take it out of the box and plug it in, doesn't it?
You know, when you think about that, I think the most critical part is the experience. And when you think about computing capabilities, it's really about installation, deployment, and support. Of course, we are in the business of selling technologies and capabilities, but I call it a solution because the real experience occurs when you take it out of the box and you start to run your business, because now you're at a point where the customer has trusted the confidence in us as a technology provider. So it's really about, my role is figuring out how to provide the best experience for our customers end to end, from point of purchase through management and support.
Ultimately, IBM is in the business of selling skills, isn't it?
Now, on the skills point, and this is a role I think most corporations should continue to play. So if I think about education as an example, one of the things I'm actually very proud of, and some of the things that we do, is our focus on skills and a heavy focus on K through 12. So we actually have a couple of programs that we've launched called Transition to Teaching, where we're taking IBMers that have a background in the STEM disciplines and equipping them to actually work in K through 12, as an example. We also have some things that we've done around reinventing education, which is where we are working with school districts around the world in terms of the applications of technologies that will allow the use of technology to deliver a competitive advantage around education.
That's a very, very powerful statement. And thank you very much, Rod Adkins.
It's always my pleasure, and thanks for having me.
This is my first trip in several years to the Black Engineer of the Year Awards, but in a sense, I've never really been away. This weekend feels like a big extended family reunion. We all have a lot in common, and I know a lot of people here already. And to those of you I haven't had a chance to meet, I hope that I will get to meet you before the weekend ends. I mean it when I say we're family. Yes, we're engineers, and we're African